What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the new optics changes for the Cold War optics. The 3X, 4X, and SUSAT all got changed pretty significantly today in the patch on May 27th. Obviously, I'm in a little bit different location than I normally am. I'm actually in Tennessee right now visiting my family for the first time in a year and a half because of COVID. So I'm still going to try to get some content out and still work on the website and stuff, but I just wanted to let you know that's why stuff looks different and why my voice might sound a little bit different and why my background's different. But we're going to talk about the optics, like I said. I also want to talk about a new feature on TrueGameData that some of you might not know about. It's pretty exciting, especially if you're like a streamer or just anyone if you want to share builds or anything like that. We'll jump into that in a second. But as always, if you guys like the content, consider dropping that sub, like, and comment. It helps us grow, helps us with the algorithm. But yeah, let's jump into the content, and I will show you the new feature on the website, as well as talk about the optics changes and how it affects the game. All right, so first up, like I said, I want to talk about the website a little bit and a new feature that we've added. This is for streamers or anyone who really wants to just share their builds with their friends. Basically, we've created profile pages, so you can have a username, a profile picture, and you can save your favorite weapon builds on here now. So, for example, I haven't actually used this completely yet just because I've been busy, but I'm going to add all my favorite builds to the site here on my profile, which is just TrueGameData.com/TrueGameData. So when you log into the site now, you'll have the ability to customize your profile. You can make it public, so it's shareable. So for example, mine is TrueGameData.com/TrueGameData because that's my username, and my account's public, so anyone can come view my builds if they want. Like I said, I haven't exactly done this yet, but I'm going to very soon. This will be where I'll point people on my stream, so when someone does like !XM4 on my stream, I'll have a link to this XM4 that's saved in my profile, or just a link to my profile in general. You can view this, and it'll show you all the stats for the specific build that you've created. It'll show you the DPS plot and all the specific actual stats rather than the... Normally what people do is they just list the attachments they use and they don't get to show any stats that they have for those guns on stream. But now with this new profile page, you should be able to actually link your builds with real stats to people, which I think is super cool. We're going to add a lot more to this too. It's not finished completely yet. We're going to add the ability to have like a paragraph of text where you can describe what this build is for and how you use it and things like that. So it's pretty cool. We're going to have a way to, in the future, add this to your other comparison list that's just on the base website. So you can, for example, if you're watching JGod play and he has his account set up on here, and you open his XM4 build, in the future, we're going to have the ability to take his XM4 build and add it to the just standard list, and then you can add all your guns to it, so you can directly compare stats to his build and see if you can build something that you think is better, or just in any way, you just can compare it to everything. So I just wanted to highlight this because I know some people didn't know about this probably. It's pretty cool, I think, and we got a lot of cool stuff coming down the line with the profile pages. So just want to let you all know about this. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, the optics from Cold War have been completely changed. 3 of them have been completely changed. The Axial Arms 3X, the Royal and Cross 4X, and the SUSAT multi-zoom are very, very different than they were before. JGod did a really good comparison of this on his Twitter, so we're going to look at this real fast. So this is the Axial Arms 3X. This is what it used to look like. This is what it looks like now. So you can see it basically went from looking like a sniper scope to pretty much looking like a VLK with a T-pose. And the zoom is roughly the same as the VLK with from the Modern Warfare guns as well. So it's a pretty big change, and it has really significant ramifications in terms of sniper rifles and assault rifles, really, to be honest. And overall, it's a really good change, I think, and I've been wanting them to do this forever. So I will talk more about the details, but let's look at his 4X picture. So this is the Royal and Cross 4X, and then the new Royal and Cross 4X. So it looks a lot like a VLK now, but it has this. It looks like it has about the same zoom as it did before. It appears to be the same zoom. So again, I think this is a really good change. And something else they changed recently is the 4X on snipers now has glint. So you can't get that crazy zoom that you could before with no glint. And that's something else I will talk about with the 3X as well. I've been running some really cool LW3 builds that worked really, really well with the no glint 3x, but now I can't do that because the 3x has been, changed to not have that zoom anymore. So you can't really use it as a sniper scope. But overall, that's a really good thing for the game because it made no sense that you could get these no glint snipers on the Cold War guns, but on the Modern Warfare guns you couldn't. So I think it's a great change, and I think they should have done it a long time ago. But we will talk more about that, specifically the sniper builds, in a second. So this is the SUSAT before and the SUSAT after. So it has dramatically less zoom now. I'm not really sure why they did this to this one, because the Royal and Cross was 4x before and it's still 4x now. The SUSAT was 2x and 4x, and now for some reason it's really zoomed out. So I don't know why that is. But overall, great changes. But let's go talk about the ramifications of this in our builds. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is how this affects sniper rifle builds for Cold War guns. So as I've mentioned a bunch, the Axial Arms 3X had the same level of zoom as the Kar 98 sniper scope before this patch. So you could really just throw it on any Cold War sniper, have no glint, the same zoom levels as the Kar 98, and they also, the Axial Arms 3X also would really help with your ADS times on Cold War snipers. So it was just totally imbalanced compared to the Modern Warfare guns. It didn't make any sense why they left it that way for so long. But this was one of my favorite builds. This was a fast ADS ZRG using the 3X. And now that we don't have any zoom with the 3X compared to before, really, you're not going to want to use that. So I'd probably pop on the 5 milliwatt for my ZRG build. I'm going to do a full update on snipers and what you should be running now on your snipers and how to, be the best in every situation with different sniper rifles. But I'm just going to briefly talk about how this changes our sniper builds today. So this is probably what I'd recommend for the ZRG. And then before, about the week where we had that 5 milliwatt laser, that was the other change they made recently, was the 5 milliwatt laser is now basically attack laser from Modern Warfare. So this LW3 was ridiculously good for that week. I would run it like this. So 5 milliwatt gave you great ADS times. They fixed the aiming stability issues with the LW3. It feels like a normal sniper now instead of all the weird stuff I've talked about in the past. If you want to know what weird stuff I'm talking about, go watch my original ZRG video from probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. But they've fixed all of that. So basically, this build here was like almost Kar 98 ADS times because we had 5 milliwatt axial and serpent grip, which just brings the ADS time down so much. And then with the wrap suppressor and combat recon, it was like 1165 bullet velocity, so way faster bullet velocity than the Kar 98. No glint because you're using the Axial 3X, and a 5-round instant reload mag, unlike the Kar 98. So this gun was just ridiculously good. But now that they've changed this Axial 3X, and it no longer has that Kar 98 zoom level, and you can't just use the Royal and Cross 4X because now the Royal and Cross 4X has glint. Basically, this just brings it in line with all the Modern Warfare snipers, which is a good thing. It's always going to be a good thing. As for the 4th or the 5th attachment now, that's something that I'm going to cover in my actual sniper video later on. But just know that it's really good that they made this optic change for snipers, specifically because of those things I just mentioned. It brings them in line with the Modern Warfare snipers a lot more. And then as for the Cold War ARs, I always felt like, so if you look at the Cold War ARs and you looked at optics, we had the Vision Tech 2X and the Axial Arms 3X, and the 2X was quite a bit less zoom than the VLK on a Modern Warfare gun, and then the 3X was like so much more zoom than the VLK on a Modern Warfare gun. So we had this weird disparity between Modern Warfare guns and Cold War guns on zoom levels and effective recoil. I've talked about effective recoil in the past a long time ago, about how when you have more zoom, you have to move your mouse more to correct for it. So the Axial Arms 3X made all these Cold War assault rifles feel like they had tons of recoil and really hard to control, when really they probably didn't. And then the Vision Tech 2X just didn't have enough zoom to be used as a long-range AR, especially when you're running on high FOV affected on PC. May have been different on console, but I'm just speaking from a PC perspective. I always felt like one of the only things that made all these Cold War guns not viable was not having an optic that felt like the VLK. So now that they've changed the Axial Arms 3X to make it actually function a lot more like a VLK, I think the XM4, maybe the QBZ, the FARA for sure, the FFAR, Cold War AK and Krig are all going to feel so much better in comparison to the Modern Warfare guns. And just in general, I think they're going to feel way, way better because we now have that optic that's in between that 2X and the Kar 98 sniper scope that we needed. So it's a great change overall. I think for like a standard long range build, so if you want to build a Cold War AR for long range, you basically want to use the last suppressor to get you that bullet velocity damage range. You're going to want to use the bullet velocity barrel, which is either the Liberator or the Ranger, usually, I think. And then you're going to want to use the 4th magazine, just because the 6th magazine doesn't affect reload times that much, and it really hurts your ADS times, so I almost always use the 60 round. And then you're going to want to use it's called different things, the Spetsnaz grip, the Field Agent grip. It's the one that helps with horizontal recoil and vertical recoil, so you're going to want to use that grip. And then I think it's pretty much a no-brainer to use the Axial Arms 3X now, which is what we were trying to use before, but before it just made these guns have so much effective recoil that it was really hard to control them and hit your shots mid to long range, especially longer ranges. It's always a trade-off between zoom and effective recoil and visual recoil, but to bring this in line with the Modern Warfare guns was a really, really good thing, I think. So this is going to be the standard long-range Cold War AR build now for pretty much all the guns. In some situations, you might want one of the damage range barrels, but that's going to be a topic for a different video, more in-depth into meta builds and recommended builds. But I just wanted to cover how the optic changes affect the game right now. All right, well, I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about. I wanted to show off the new features on the website. I'm getting back on YouTube now. I know I've taken a break, but I'm coming back. Gonna start trying to make more videos, even though I'm sort of on a mini vacation right now. Gonna try to get some stuff done this week, get some videos out. I'll have meta videos coming out later this week as well to help you guys with what I think are the best guns in the game right now, best setups. Appreciate JGod for those screenshots. Make sure you go follow him, sub to his channel. As always, if you guys like the content, consider dropping that sub, like, and comment. Really helps us out, helps us grow. But I will see you guys all in the next video, hopefully coming out in the next couple days.